It is time, everybody. Red alert.
Red alert!
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Tom King. This is the 4K Skywatching podcast. It is Friday night. This is episode 54. It looks like Tim Sr. got caught up in something. It's February, what is it, the 6th? A lot of weird stuff's going on this weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending some of your time on Friday. Me and Tim were talking about doing a weekend podcast, probably on a Saturday, maybe a Sunday. What do you guys think about that? I know a lot of people are busy right now on Friday. So we might probably going to keep doing Fridays. I think I might do additional stuff on the weekend. But this weekend is a no go. Super Bowl's going on. I'm not competing with the Super Bowl. So I don't even know if I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, to tell you the truth. Uh, kind of have made other plans, and we'll get into that in a sec. Had some weird issues last week, right before I was going to kick the stream on, and I do a test. It didn't work. It totally. I don't like using this term very often because it's a Gen Z term or whatever. Crashed out. My stream crashed out. That's the proper way of using it. They say crashed out to everything, right? So anyway, stream would not freaking work. I ended up going down to 30 frames a second last week and going wireless, which I don't like to do. We are back at 60 frames a second, 4K upstream. Everything's going good. What was really weird, and I'm going to mention this nerd level shit in case any of you run into this. I isolated this down to a network card, so I'm plugged directly into the router, and it wouldn't work. That doesn't make any sense. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 40 or 50 episodes plugged in, no problems. All of a sudden, problems, right? Changed the IP address, didn't help. What ended up fixing this is I had to go into my network card and turn off IP6. By default, you're broadcasting a IP4 and IP6 wirelessly, or when you're plugged in. Most people don't need IP6 at all, so I shut that off. Boom, we're back. That makes no sense. That's weird. I'm a computer guy, right? And I like programming because it only does what you tell it to, right or wrong. And this shit is voodoo. It works on freaking voodoo. What a pisser. So yeah, we're going to get into tonight some different thermal videos that came out from Corbell. I spent some time, and I mean some time, analyzing one of them. And we've got a couple of those, and we can compare that to stuff that I have captured myself. Let's kick this off. Gobstopper, thanks you for coming in. First one in. And then we had Shelly. How you doing, Shelly? I guess maybe you missed me. I was on Spaced Out Radio again last week, burning the midnight oil until that was a 10 to 12 weeknight thing. I don't know how Dave Scott does this until 1 a.m. or so, and then gets up, drags his ass to work. Jesus Christ, man. When does that man sleep? He just eats and sleeps this stuff. Good friendly guy. He really represents the Canucks really well. I've never met a mad, pissed off Canadian. Oh wait. I have. They're in Quebec, Ontario. Those people are usually a little fudgety. But yeah, the rest of them are pretty happy-go-lucky. Amelia, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, no sports. So, hey, Wes, good to see you. And there he is. Hey, Dan, how you doing? And Dan is the madman here. Let's Dan Starsky, AZ Motherload, the motherload of good stuff. It looks like we might be going up to Sedona this weekend. Not going to say what we're going to do or where and when, but one of these days, maybe Saturday, could be on the Super Bowl. Looks like we might be heading up. We have a scientific project in mind. Hopefully it works out. I plan to bring a couple of cinema cameras up there. What I want to do this time is bring my Panasonic GH5S up there. But what I plan to do this time is I have this thing called a Ninja Atomos screen. And what this screen does is it's a professional type of screen that you use for a monitor. And most people put these on camera rigs. And it records into a solid state drive. This allows me to unlock the frame rates from the camera to film at extreme high resolution. If I remember right, it was 800 megabits a second. It was almost a gig a second. Just think about that. Every second is a gig. So you got like 60 seconds, 60 gig. I mean, that thing is going to blow up hard drive space. It's for filming like stuff for Netflix. They have certain cameras that they want. They have a list of cameras that are approved that for use for Netflix, and this is one of them. And you got to use it kind of in this high resolution mode. Film's good either way. What do you got out there? Well, you can fix that, I think. So Tim must have got caught up in something, but the podcast goes on. Interesting news coming out this week. All over the news is unfortunately, some anchor had her mom kidnapped, just like in a movie, nonstop wall-to-wall coverage. I'm sorry, but this is what's fucking wrong with this country. They love this shit. They love murder. The top story is Epstein. Make no mistake. The whole Epstein thing is in the release top story. But looky over here, shiny object. Pay attention to somebody that doesn't give a shit about you. Wall-to-wall coverage. They want to keep us docile and stupid in this country. They don't want smart people in any country because smart people will figure out they're getting fucked. They want stupid people. And football is the excellent thing. Bread and circus. They want you drunk and watching the circus, right? Don't think about the elites that ruin your life and all that other bullshit. But it's like UFO should be the top story, but it's not. You know, Corbell put out a pretty damn good video, and that should be on other places other than News Nation. But they obsess over missing people, certain demographics that are missing. They put them up there. That ain't fucking news. I don't watch that shit. Fact is, I just don't care. I just don't care about none of that. It's a distraction. It's bullshit news. It has nothing to do with any of us. You know, UFOs do. If they were to cover UFOs and to treat it with the attention that it needs, all of our lives would be changed. All of them. We'd have so many different things going on. Instead of all of us deciding we'll be a debt slave to this billionaire or this billionaire, maybe we would have some kind of energy system, um, from these things. Maybe we could have an interplanetary Earth, but instead we're trapped on this goddamn rock working for these fucking billionaires. But top stories, bullshit news, to replaced with different bullshit news. Not going to say, hey, you guys are fucked. Left or right are both sick people. They've been running this country for decades. But oh, look, some millionaire, her mom's missing. What a bunch of shit. What a bunch of shit. So let's move into the media. Yeah. Push your trauma is their drama. That's my thing. It doesn't matter to us if they find that woman's mom or not. It doesn't affect any of us really. It has nothing to do with just pay attention to this. Fuck it. Watch Fallout. Watch something interesting. Okay, so we're going to cover a bunch of different topics tonight. Let's look at these three orbs. Okay, so first of all, let's back up a bit. This Dorito video came out, right? So let's look at this Dorito video. They call this the thermal Dorito video. It's pretty interesting. It's been around. This thing has been photographed before, but I think this is the first time we got some interesting video.
After a couple of hours of not seeing much more than contrails in the distance, closer to 3 o'clock in the morning, I got another low flyover, but this one looked different. The aircraft that passed overhead this time appeared to be closer to an equilateral triangle shape with a flatter trailing edge.
We're seeing a contrail coming out of a triangular object. This is definitely a conventional object. It is not a UFO. Doubtful it's a UFO that's been reverse engineered. This is just a really good video of one of America's new drones. I believe they had the name of this drone. This drone, I think, was filmed at Nellis Air Force Base on the ground. So this is probably just a bomb delivery drone. The contrails give away that it has, just a conventional exhaust. The size of this thing is about probably the size of a two-car garage. And there was a picture of it from before. But interesting triangle. It's out to kill people. If that thing's in the air, it's probably got a payload of some bombs and it's heading somewhere. And you do not want to be on the receiving end of whatever the hell that thing is flying around. But that's not the triangle. That's not the triangle from the Phoenix Lights. Too small. The triangle from the Phoenix Lights was the size of a town, right? This thing is something that could land on an aircraft carrier. The size of the triangle from the Phoenix Lights was bigger than the entire aircraft carrier. So that's an interesting video. Very, very rare video. They don't have much information on these new drones. And they're just out in the open. Military personnel work on them. They service them. They go to war. They come back. Very few pictures of them leak, which is pretty good. We don't want our military assets to totally leak out there so China can just copy them. But again, if we have a hangar full of UFOs, why in the fuck are we still using the B-2 and all that gas and all the oil or the fueling retankers and everything that comes with it? It's just very expensive. If they let the genie out of the bottle and said, hey, we have recovered ships, we know how to operate them, don't fuck with us, because we could be hovering over your city, boom, and you're gone. We could kidnap your leaders. We can beam them up, whatever the fuck with these things. Maybe it would stop war completely. This is frustrating, living on a planet that's constantly at a battle with itself. I wish this damn planet could get its shit together and we can go out into space, into the solar system, and start colonizing all over the place, like Elon Musk is talking about. Let's go to Mars, man. Let's get the process started. All this money that we waste on bombs could be on rockets. It could be on another SpaceX, Fuck. What a frustrating world we live in sometimes. Now we go from that triangle to a triangle of orbs that came up from weaponized. Let's look at this. This is Fleur. It looks like it's white hot, and it's an interesting release. So we're looking at these three objects here. Notice that it's a bit cropped. I think they didn't. It doesn't. It is somewhat cropped, but not fully. Looks like they have a laser radar finder on here. All of the acronyms on the side of the screen of the heads up can be figured out if you ask AI. So we have three of these objects flying somewhat in a formation. And it's frustrating looking at this because I'm trying to lock down what we're looking at here. First things first, is this a solid triangle or just a formation of objects? That's what's got to be looked at first. Anybody can kind of tell that if you watch this video a few times, you're able to see through these objects. So this is not a triangle like the Dorito. This is a whole different type of triangle. This is a formation of objects flying in a triangle. Now, what I did with this is I went to test this video. Depending on what type of videos you end up with, there's a number of tests that can be done. For this type of video, I tested it for balloons. Now, they didn't look like balloons because they changed direction. All of them did as a unit. Now, if they all change directions as a unit, that means they're tied together. And if they're tied together, you can test for that. I haven't seen anybody do really any work on this video. If it's out there, I missed it. Well, I haven't seen anybody doing any video processing on it. So I started it. I started doing a test to see if these were balloons. Now, these could be birds, and they could be UAP too. The problem with thermal is they all look the same. You know, they're all going to be white blobs. All right. So to test it for balloons, what you do with this video is you take out the camera movement and you stabilize one of the objects. So I had to pick one of those three objects to stabilize, and then I have to go with it for the whole video. So I picked the rear object in the back, and then I started stabilizing this thing. And sometimes it goes fast, depending on the video, and sometimes it goes slow. And this one, boy, did this puppy go slow. This was a frame by frame by frame by frame, right? I spent hours and hours and hours on this goddamn triangle video. And then I got to the point where I had half of it done. I got about 40 seconds in. I said, fuck it. I gave up. I came to the conclusion that we're not going to get any additional information out of this thing. The way it was released, it wasn't 30 frames a second. It was like 9 frames that were locked, and it would advance a frame, and then 9 frames locked, advance a frame. So the stabilization just got all screwy with this. So what it looks like is either there was a lot of compression of this out of the saving system, the NVR, the DVR that the military uses, or Core Bell slowed it down. I'm not sure which, but it was just a freaking mess to stabilize. Let's look at the stabilization of it to see if it's tested for balloons. So this is the videos of the object stabilized, and it's a little bit jumpy. I stabilized the rear object in the back and let the other ones fall where they may. Okay, so what we're looking for here is if these are balloons to test for that, what's going to happen with 3 objects is we're going to have expansion and contraction over and over because the wind's going to blow these balloons in whatever direction. They're going to be tied together with this string if they were to shift in a unit, and they're going to go as a unit, but they're going to pull apart. So we're going to see a stretch to the max, and then once they get to the maximum, where there's the maximum length of the string, they kind of pull back together and then they blow apart. So we see this undulation over and over and over. And this is important when looking at a lot of videos, because a lot of times they're grocery bags or balloons, or something along those lines. So if you have a group, you have a cluster, you can test for that. And I've seen this in other people's videos. I've seen this in other Skywatchers videos that just don't know how to test for this. And I see that undulation, and I can tell that's a dead giveaway for balloons. So even if it's not stabilized, if you can make that undulation out, balloons. Now I didn't see any flapping, so they could be orbs. They could be unknowns. I don't think they're birds. They could be. I didn't see any flapping. The flapping is going to see just the thermal signature drop and then come back and drop, and come back and drop. I didn't see it. Oh, Tim's here. Yeah, Tim, check your mail. Should be in there. Okay, Tim's in here. Just a second. Let me bring him in. And we'll get Tim in here. Alrighty, Tim. All right, we'll get him in here in a minute. Let me get back to the chat here. And yeah, Tim's. Let me catch up with the chat while Tim's getting everything hooked up. I think Tim's got some videos we're going to get into after this stuff too. All righty, Tim. Let me switch to Sky for a minute while I get this all rigged up. All right, Tim, is your mic working there? All righty, Tim, I got you live here. Let's see if do a mic check for me.
For sure. Check one. Can you hear me? All right.
Here we go. How you doing, Tim?
Oh,
all right,
doing
sounds
great.
in.
Yeah.
Good. Nice view behind you. All right, so we're rocking in on the third one. I was telling you the pain in the ass on that goddamn stabilization of those three objects, frame by fucking frame. There was no auto stabilization. And then after a while, I just came to the conclusion, you know what? I'm not going to learn anything if I go on and take another 4 hours on that particular video. So I don't know what it is, but it's just going to be something that people forget about. There's people that don't really believe in UAPs unless they come from weaponized, unless they're military flair, then it's like, okay, this is real. I know. I sort of get that. It wasn't fake. This is not a hoax. The person, because you don't know the motives of a random person who shows up with a UFO video. Who are they? Why are they here? And then we have MUFON, which is like anti-Skywatchers. They don't believe as a whole that you can record a UFO more than once. They don't think that you can really go out and skywatch and pick stuff up. They think it's just a random event that just happens, and it's dumb luck if a person gets a phone out. But they always say if you record one twice, there's something wrong with the person, and then they target that person and say dismiss all their stuff. I've been hearing that from the 90s on up. That's why they're kind of like the cops in a movie. They show up at the end to investigate. They're not there from the beginning. And we're the people who are there at the beginning to film it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really hard to find consistent sources for good video. we find our sources coming from where mostly weaponized, right? So if you're going to mainstream media and you're looking up the UAP topic, you're going to come across that first. Now, you and I both know most of the good stuff lies somewhere in the stratosphere of the public domain, right? The level of science that you and I personally work at, that's where the good stuff is. That's where the real gray box is. That's where the unfiltered UFO footage is. And that's why you and I work so hard with people like Dave Mason and Groundbreakers that are looking into this with every possible aspect of this phenomenon in mind, trying to capture it in one way or another and keep it legit and show our work. You know, I think legitimizing this as a true science is a big first step.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Dave about the 3 videos there, and could be birds. I mean, it's not definitive. However, the next one, the one from Syria, is much better. It's probably the best one that Corbell has released. I would say it's the most interesting video that has came out since the gimbal. And I'm freaking biased because it locks right in with the video I shot. And it's like, I'm sitting there, everybody's like online, like, wow, look at this video, look at this video, look at this video. And it's like, I've shot videos like this. You know, where are you guys? You know, they're not getting millions of views because they're not weaponized, but same thing. So let's take a look at this new one from Syria here, and we'll play it and we'll comment on this one. This is the Syria UAP from 2021. The first thing I notice, nothing's blacked out. So great. We get those details that we can study from the heads up. And you know what? It doesn't kill national security. Now, here's what's going on is the operator is boxing the target. He's attempting to box the target. And when he does, the camera pod will slew with it. Now, what we can see is the object turned around and came back. So now it's flying the other direction. He's attempting to box it again. He auto-boxed it. The boxing is going down. Now, when that says gets down, it says 5M. That's saying 5 meters. And what this targeting is doing is it's right there saying 5 meters. That's 5 meters in the ground, not in the air. So this is attempting to help them differentiate what is a legitimate target and what is not. This would be something, because they're not going to shoot $1 million Hellfire or what $100,000 Hellfire at balloons. You know, they're not going to waste ammo on stupid shit. Mick West thinks they do. But what do you think of this video, Tim? What are your thoughts?
I agree. I think this is interesting. We have to be able to rule out an element of parallax because obviously they're 2 moving objects. When you see it slowing down in some points and you see that it's stable video, it kind of rules out some of the parallax theory, we're going to get bombarded with. Again, you said in the very beginning here that you yourself have filmed things like this. These are the real UAP, in my opinion. This was true UAP video. I think one of Corbell's best releases, in my opinion, if not the best. Now, I only state that simply because after having time with the other pieces, we've been able to rule them out as potentially mundane. But there's information in this video that we don't normally get. A lot of the HUD, the heads-up display video information is still included, which is so important because we can glean quite a bit from that. Now, Tom, I believe this video is quite a few years old. Am I correct?
Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
Now this one I did absolutely nothing with post processing because there's nothing to do to this video. When they get target locked, they stabilize on it. And when they zoom in, looks kind of like a disc. And keep in mind that for the audience at home, thermal doesn't have a zoom capability like regular cameras. There's no dial where you zoom in because they can't see. Thermal can't see through glass, so it can't use a regular glass. They use a special type of glass for each lens type. So when they zoom in, I believe the camera actually rotates like the old cameras. Well, they'll have a dial and they'll have a different wide angle and medium and probably a zoom, and they'll turn to that. So that's why you always see it kind of flip in like police helicopters and crowd control and stuff. When they go into a zoom, you'll see it flip. So this video has a couple things in it. As the object, now I see stuff. I have a trained professional eye on UAPs. This is what I do. This thing is doing racetrack patterns right in front of the camera. I'm not sure exactly where this is, but they caught this thing doing racetrack patterns. Then they got a lock on and it ditched them. And that's what happens with these things. They will not let you manhandle them at all with a camera. If you get a camera on these things really, really good, they seem to go, oh shit. You got 90 frames maximum and I'm out of here. They take evasive action to get out of there, because they had a really good shot of that thing and it was starting to look like some type of disc, which is interesting if the thing's only 3 feet long, right? What kind of goddamn micro disc is this? This is the type of shit that I'm filming up above me at 10,000 feet all the time. It's the same thing. So I think it was doing racetrack patterns and they got a lock on it. It did a 90-degree turn, went north. Then it did another 90-degree turn to the right and it ditched them. Classic, just classic ditch them.
And so I'm a bit of a layman, but when I put some of this information through a chat GPT form, what it was saying was that the information down in the bottom left is expressing that this is in safe mode, right? Which means that this unit is not armed. So it was collecting this information on this object in a safe mode with no intent to take it down. Now, we've seen other footage from the same platform where it interacted and took down that object. So I'm curious, Tom, why do you think this is potentially in safe mode while it's collecting this data?
That may be. I'm not an expert on what this stuff is. Now we could. There's a guy named Dave. There's a lot of Daves. Dave out in Florida was a thermal expert that works on these targeting pods. Would be able to read all of the acronyms off the screen. Safe might be that they just don't have the weapon armed. I mean, I think the laser rangefinder is what they're using to target this thing. Now, here's where it turns around. It does a half circle and it flies back the other direction. Now, a drone could do that. A bird could do that. But the 90-degree turns these things do, birds can't do that. Drones can't do that. Sometimes these videos are, when you collect them and you shoot them good enough, you got enough information to figure it out, which way it is. Like with the 3 orb videos, we don't have enough information to figure out if that is just birds or maybe some orbs. I don't think they're balloons. This one, we got enough information to figure it out. We don't know what this one is. There's nothing. It's almost in the category of undebunkable. Military didn't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It flies like a classic UAP. So you tell me. I don't know. But here's what it looks like to me. I have videos much like this one. Okay. Now, you've seen that doing racetrack patterns. It might make a little more sense after watching this video if you haven't seen it before. Now, I shot this video in 2022, not too long after the Syria video. And I was talking to actually Tim on the phone right when this happened. I was like, fuck, Tim, I got to go. I need to film this properly. So I filmed this object here. I call this the M video. And this is another one that is really hard to debunk when you look at it. So this object is doing racetrack patterns, just like you see in the 2021 Syria video. So it just did the first of two half circles here. And over in the right-hand corner is the thing stabilized and enhanced, so we can take a look at it. You can tell it's not a bird. It's not a bug. Sure, this hell ain't a grocery bag flying around like this. I don't know what this is. I said before on the record that this thing is the size of a beach ball. It's small. Maybe at the biggest, a Volkswagen Beetle. Maybe something like that. That would be the largest. But this is a small object because we're not getting a lot of detail off of it. And I know half the people who watch this show watch it on the phone, but you're gonna have to zoom in if you want to see some of these stuff. So this thing flies down, and it's going to do another half circle here. This is one that I showed George Knapp's team from Netflix, and they're like, "Damn!" when they saw this one. And then I showed them the system I used to record it, and they said, "George is going to like your place." So then eventually George Knapp came over, and this is one of the videos. He's like, "Okay, this is pretty interesting." And I wonder, when he saw this, did he have the Syria video sitting in the can? You know, because the Syria video predates this one. So I don't know when they got it. I haven't seen Weaponized, so I don't know exactly when they took possession of that particular video. But at this point, it's going to do another half circle. So that's what racetrack patterns are, is just flying in a formation. It's a holding pattern in the sky, just kind of doing loops, like you see when you see like a helicopter doing circles. And a lot of times when you see a helicopter doing a circle, and you wonder, why is that helicopter circling over that area? Two things. One, somebody there's it's a felony over there, and they're trying to get somebody, or there's a person sunbathing topless, and they're circling to take a look. So here is the object. It's going to do another half circle. So this is similar to what we saw in the Weaponized clip, where it just turns around and it boogies. And it's the object's about the same size, white phosphorus type of object. I've shown this on the show before. Same type of thing. To me, that's the Syria object, to me. But I'm biased because I shot the damn thing, so I can't exactly separate myself out of the video. I got to let the audience do it. The audience isn't biased much at all, so I got to let them. What do you guys think? You guys see this video? You guys seen the Syria video? Is it the same thing? Not. I mean, what do you think, Tim?
Oh, I think this is exactly what we're looking at when we talk about UAP and UFO. Whatever this object is, it's definitely displaying number of the observables that we talked about when we're looking for a UAP. It's changing shape, changing speed, changing direction. It definitely seems to be morphing at times, not only attempting to blend in with its background and using cloud for cover, things like that. I mean, I can almost guarantee these things are flying above us almost all the time. It's so hard to capture. And the tracing that you're doing, watching how this thing moves, this is not how birds operate. This is not how drones operate. Even a piloted drone doesn't do this. There's a lot of pauses that takes place typically with drone operation. Yeah, this is a very interesting piece of information, and the fact that you do all the right kind of operations with your software to prove it out is the big factor. And this is what changes the game from simply a piece of footage to a piece of evidence. And I personally believe that's what we are looking at here with Tom's work. This is a great piece of UFO evidence.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. This video we're looking at was shot about 30 seconds apart. The section on the right where I'm tracing the object and it bounces and it does an M, it hits the sky, bounces off, and then this kind of an M or a W shape, if you will. Then it goes over to the left, hovers, comes back, and then on the left hand portion, it does kind of another thing where it bounces off the wall again, doing the same pattern. When I saw that, I went, Jesus, this isn't a bird. Birds can't bounce off the wall. First of all, the pattern that it did was left there, I think, deliberately defined. So this is where I think they mess with us on a whole different level that people don't even think about. That there's like 8 billion of us on the planet. There's about 120 UFO investigators. There's 10,000 podcasters talking about what the 120 UFO investigators do because they ain't doing shit. And then there's all these people that watch all these podcasts. These things are interested in the 100 people doing the investigations. And they are leaving all kinds of evidence like this behind to see if you can decipher it. And I think if you can, then they leave you something else. I think this type of evidence is all over the place. We need to figure it out. But a glib person would just watch this video going, it's a drone. I was like, okay, fine. But these things could be leaving all kinds of data in front of you, and you're just too fucking stupid to see it, right? So I think, you know what? Then go watch the fucking Niners or something, or what, whoever your fucking team is, sports. Go watch Babe Winkleman fishing or something. But there's a rant on that. But yeah, there's data here, man. But we really got to sift through on a hell of a level.
Right. And you and I were talking about that we spend a lot of our time throwing away footage, right? And some of it is, it's fluff, it's debris, we can rule it out. But when you get a piece of gold, this is literally sifted out. It's so worth it. And again, I would love to ask the question in the audience too, like if you're able to put your thoughts in the chat. If you have a mundane explanation, I would love to hear it. That because this is one of those pieces that I think we all scratch our heads on. And I do think that this compares to what they saw in Syria, very much so, in fact. I think it demonstrates a lot of what we see in that Corbell release.
All right, now let's go back a little deeper into my archive from the same year as the Syria video, 2021. I got another one that ditched me. And it ditched me when I started locking in on this thing. This is a stabilization cut of the object. This object was floating, literally just floating with the clouds, not moving. And I'm like, that's a grocery bag up there stuck in the clouds. I got a little bit of stuff I'm doing. I'll get to it because it's a grocery bag. It's not going anywhere, right? So finally get around to tinkering with this object, and I started zooming in at maximum power. And when I did, it noped me. Went, I'm out of here. Changed direction and split. So let's check this out. Same type of behavior we've seen in the Syria video. When you start manhandling these things, they say that's enough. You've had your fun. Now I'm out of here. You can have a few seconds of my blurry, ship or whatever, but you're not getting hella good details on it.
Now, this is the second time that we've seen an airplane in the same footage with your UAP. Now, I've seen lots of footage with UAP interested in aircraft. What are your thoughts about the fact that perhaps 4 out of 10 pieces of video always have an airplane flying somewhere in the vicinity. Do you think they're curious? Is it a coincidence?
Well, I happen to just live, well, not just me, the whole damn city lives under, for the most part, air traffic from Sky Harbor Airport, the main airport here. They put the airport here in the center of town. Now, when I lived in Sacramento, their fucking airport was like 20 miles, I don't know, north or something. So you had to go for a drive to get out of there. So if you're skywatching in Sacramento, you're not going to get aircraft. But I'm stuck with aircraft, and there's prime hours, the morning, 11, 7 at night, you know, when people come in and the traffic picks up. Uh, a good question, like you were asking, does the UAP stop or slow down during prime time, during 7, 11, and 7 in the Phoenix area? I don't think so. I think it just does what it does. And you're right, these things live up there. It's not like I just happened to catch him when it happened to be around, you know, and got lucky. A lot. I think they're just up there for the most part. There's I'm pretty sure you're not on Twitter. There's a guy on Twitter. ProPixel is his handle. Bill Crystal, very very good analyst. He does really good computer work on UFO videos. So we need more people that know what they're doing. A lot of people think they know what they're doing with these videos, and they just don't. But Bill is real good with his handling. He's skeptical. He doesn't just jump in all the way. And he is also turned into a sky watcher. And I know of him. He knows of me briefly. But he was saying, hey, these objects are up there, just like I was showing you, all over the place. You just got to look at above 10,000 feet. And I'm like, I'm sure he hasn't seen me beating the drums on this channel going, the damn things are up there above air traffic, 10,000, 20,000 feet. Didn't Kevin Day say he tracked these usually around 30,000 feet?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I have video of that. I have dome video. I was looking at one before I started the show, old video, and I'm filming something. I was telling Dan last Saturday, did a skywatch at Superstition Mountains. So went over to Dan's Starsky's second home, and it's far out from the East Valley. It's it's BFE. Okay, so there's no town around. So it's actually almost the same distance to his house that it is to Sedona from my house. So it takes me about 90 minutes to get to Sedona. It takes me 90 minutes to get to Dan's house. But 60 minutes is freeway, and about 30 minutes of it is on a gravel road going 3 miles an hour going, I don't think I'm going to fucking make it, man. It's like driving Area 51. It's all rocky and shit. So we get out there, we're sky watching, and Dan just picked up a really good pair of Luna Optics 4K binoculars. I think he just took possession of them. So when we go out and do sky watches, we'll have 2 sets of these. We'll have my set and Dan's set for the sky watching. So he's got a really killer piece of property up there. So we're sky watching from there, and I just can't believe the amount of people that live out there. And I don't know how the hell they get homes built out there, because this is a very difficult place to build. I mean, it's expensive to build a house. And just imagine saying, okay, I want to have everything hauled to BFE. I want all this plywood, all this sheetrock, then it's like got to be double the price. And there's no one out there, but a great place to skywatch and do the soups. So anyway, didn't see nothing. We hooked UFODAP up. We ran that. We did a skywatch there. I think we're going to do a skywatch like I said, this weekend. So we're going back to Sedona. We have some scientific experiments we're going to run. I'm going to bring, like I said, I'm going to bring a cinema camera and a P1000, and I'm going to shoot what I can. And when I get back, I'm probably just going to upload the raw footage to this channel. So if you're a member on here, it pays like $3 a month, you'll be able to watch all the footage uncut before we even look through it, right? So look for that maybe this weekend, late Sunday or Monday, depending on how all this goes. So we did a Skywatch there, doing another one. So we're starting the Skywatches here because it's nice here. So you might as well do it while the weather's nice. So that kind of wraps up that. Let me show you the one that ditched me, and we'll move on. Okay, so this video here was shot in 2021. The object here is going up next to these clouds. It's another one of these white phosphorus things where you can break this down. This isn't a bird. So it's either or. It's either a grocery bag, it's either a balloon, or it's a UAP. Let's find out. So there goes something flying by. These are distractions. That happens a lot of time when you're filming a UAP. You get a flyby. You get something else flying by it. So this thing is just moving with the clouds. And the clouds are going about 8 miles an hour. So I decided, okay, I need to center the camera on this. And we need to zoom in. And that's what I start doing. And this is when I decide, okay, let's zoom in on this object. And you can see now that I'm zooming in, the object, instead of floating with the clouds, shifts direction. It was moving up with the clouds. Now it's actually holding a hover. A balloon or a bag is not going to hold a solid hover while the clouds are moving. So now it shifts over to the right a little bit. And I did some video stabilization to take out the camera tracking movement. So the clouds are still moving, and this thing is moving slowly down. And this was shot on a 4K dome camera. And it's kind of looks like the Syria one. It was shot in the same year. This was actually shot on my birthday, so I call this the birthday UAP. Instead of getting drunk on my birthday, I was sky watching. Oh, maybe I was doing both. I don't know. And yeah, that's then the damn thing lost me. So similar type of things. They can go slow and blend in. Now, when they start doing those right angle turns, bouncing off the sky, they're getting attention. It's getting a lot of attention doing that. So Tim, that wraps up what I got here. What do you want to dive into?
I sent you a piece of video that I shot from my balcony here in Oregon, shot with Psionics, if you want to take a look at that. Or I have a brief breakdown of a new piece of tech that I put together. We can do that.
Why don't you do
also.
that? Why don't
Sure.
you do that while I'll get this running here in the back?
Okay, sure. We can definitely do that. My dog might want to get involved. She's right next to me here, so we'll see. Okay, so this is a piece of tech that I adapted for on-location investigation. And let me see if I can get a light on it. Okay, and so there's a series of devices on the back table here. I don't know if you can see them. You able to see those, Tom? Okay, so the idea is that you can take this, it's called a UFO pod, and you can basically customize each one of these with a series of devices for onboard recording. So for example, this one is set up with a tri-field meter, and it's got a camera where it can record the readings of the device, and you can just drop this in a location and it will go ahead and film. And you can also angle it to film the room. And the idea is to kind of formulate each one of these devices for the certain situation that you're in, whether you're indoors or outdoors. You can drop these off and be able to go back in time and see if you're getting corroborating information from more than one location. So the cool thing is each one of these can kind of be customized with different devices by popping them off. And putting on a different device. This one is set up with a IR camera and a laser grid tracking system, right? So you'd be able to set up this camera literally to record while you have a, let's see if I'll just turn this on here.
Hey, Tim, what is a laser grid tracking system?
Okay, so if you can kind of hear when I break this beam, it gives me an alert, and it tells me in a grid exactly where that beam is being broken. And
man, that's some cool fucking shit.
Yeah. So you align this in a large space outdoors, as long as you keep it below the horizon so you're not interfering with aircraft. And it has, I'll kind of bring it in here. You can kind of see here how there's a grid. If I break the beam, it corroborates with this quad tracking system. If that makes any sense. And there's a chip on board that is recording all of the information as far as distance from the camera itself and temperature, direction, things like that.
Wow. Man,
and then,
I look at that and I, sorry to interrupt. I'm thinking that looks like some fucking shit off of Battlestar Galactica and or Knight Rider right out of kit. It's like you ripped that guy's car apart and put all the cool shit. I wouldn't even think of half this stuff. So, okay, so you got, how far does that laser grid go out? Like it, I mean,
you can set parameters. So I can actually set parameters right here. So I can limit it if I just wanted to keep it within a limited area.
Okay.
But it expands out as far as a traditional laser would go. So that's a really great question to ask. I have this thing set up where I've actually, so I've tested it with drones. And so I know it's gone as far as my drone will go. It still picks up my drone. But the idea is that this camera on top is also recording on board in real time what this thing is picking up, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
And so you can just drop this pretty much at a location.
We need that in Sedona, man. That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
For what we're going to do this weekend, that would be a great. I bet you Dan's watching that going, where do I add that to cart? Now, that looks like something you custom built, right? That's just not something they got on Amazon.
Right. And so it is a custom piece of technology right here. But everything else is off the shelf equipment. This is just an iPhone holder, but I've adapted it here to lock the device in place. I have a couple other iPhone holders I've clamped down here to keep the device on this bridge. And then I rigged this by drilling through the handle to adapt it to hold a secondary camera. And the cool thing about something like this is it can be completely customized, not just for this device, but for literally any piece of equipment. So I have a nuclear radiation meter here, and I could have a camera that's staring down at it, and I can just drop it off at a location and walk away. And the idea, is to have more than one. You always have, hopefully, you're able to have two of everything. So you've got a second tri-field meter, one digital, and one analog.
Okay, so what kind of nuclear, I can't even fucking pronounce that. Nuclear, what kind of nuclear devices are you using there? No, one of those. Okay, I had one of those and it got contaminated and fucked it up. And it's kind of shot. It tells me I got high dangerous readings at all time. Now, what I typically use is this GMC 50, which is and I'm going to fuck this up too.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Now, right, this is the other one that you have is a digital version. This is the tube version. So there's a tube here and a tube here.
Yeah.
Now, what you're supposed to do is to put these in plastic bags. And I'm too lazy to do that. And the reason, audience, you put those in plastic bags is because if you test this with radioactive material, you will contaminate the tubes. Also, this is a consumable that this will not last forever and ever and ever and ever. This is going to eventually, the tubes will acquire background radiation and they'll start giving off high readings, but it's probably pretty good if put in a plastic bag for 2 to 3 years. Now, we've talked about this before, how I tested these as Amazon sells nuclear material, radioactive material, from Bob Lazar's online shop. So I bought a piece of nuclear material. It's radioactive. Of course, Rhonda didn't want it in the house, so I kept it out by under a pile of 800 bricks. And then a couple of weeks ago, we hired some contractors to come over and take those bricks and put them down. And I forgot I fucking had radioactive material in the bricks, and I didn't tell them, and they didn't put it in the ground. Later, the card was smashed between the bricks, and it's sitting on top of the bricks, and they don't even know. It's like, dude, it's not deadly, unless you're, sleep, put it under your pillow or something. But let's continue on. This is great.
Our little mad scientist. Yeah. So no, that's great. I love that. So yeah, this is basically you've got a digital tri-field meter and a camera that records, and you can, like I said, you just drop this off at your location, and you can walk away. You don't have to sit there and hold the device and record it. You can just walk around with it, and it's going to record and keep it in focus, and you'll be able to get those spikes and dips without missing any of that information. So that's the idea kind of behind this rig in particular that I came up with. And so we can dive a little deeper. I know we were thinking about doing a weekend show. I just brought the UFO pods up today and put those together, but I have quite a few new devices in my Canon, if you feel like going through those now, or if you've got that video. Great. That's huge there. That would be huge there. Yeah, I'm super familiar with that location up there in Sedona. There's a bunch of great, the vortexes. If you take your tri-field meters up there, along with and compasses, there's all kinds of cool devices that you can get to really show interesting data up there.
Hey, let's get to a few questions we have.
Go for it.
Shelly has one. Do you guys ever find anything? I'm not sure. Let's keep going on. Man, for the people watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I don't say this often, but if you're not a subscriber or whatever, hit it. There's no other channel out there that does stuff like this. Everybody else is a hyper, where they got to hype something that's coming out 6 months from now. Or I'm not even going to mention the bullshit of some guy in the UK claiming he's got access to POTUS, and POTUS is coming out later this summer and going to make a fucking announcement about Roswell. Most of ufology is built on a mountain of bullshit so high that you could ski down bullshit mountain. The real ufology is nuts and bolts. It's science, and it's boring, and that's what we do, and that's what we love. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, Tim is the new 007. Tim, have you ever got a comparison to James Bond? Oh, nice puppy back there. Well, you got a James Bond. That's a good compliment.
No, I get more Dr. Evil than James Bond.
Dr. Evil. Hey, Wes, thank you so much for that super chat.
Yeah.
You know, all the super chat money, all the money that comes into this channel, let me tell you what's going on with this. This is all getting set aside, and you guys are going to see something for it. It's not going to go into a black hole. So whatever few bucks comes in, this all goes into basically a fund for gear. And there's a television show that's licensing some footage from me that goes in it too. That's going to be sizable amount, not enough, but this is going to, so far I'm at about halfway for the funding for a camera that's going to go up on the 50-foot pole. That's going to watch everything. So that is where this funding is going to go for. It's going to go for this camera I mentioned, I think, at a couple of shows back. But I mentioned the tariffs and all the crazy shit. I do not want to pay more money than I should. So money is focusing on that. And I'm going to kick in the other half. So half the money comes in from whether television productions or from this, and I'll put in the other 50% is going to go towards that 4K camera that has 9 cameras. So anyway, that's where we're going with that. Let's get to your video. Okay, let me get this queued up. Tell us about the video while I get it ready. What are we going to see?
Oh, yeah. So what was the date? Was it, I think it was the 26th. It was January 26th of 2026.
All right, let me see if this rolls right. All right, January 2026, so we're looking at new footage.
Yeah, the 26th of January.
Psionics?
And psionics footage, correct. And so I live on a hill, and I had heard, military aircraft going over, and what I thought were Black Hawks. I hear them fairly often. We do have a military base kind of close by, but there were a lot of them. And on this night in particular, it was later than usual for them to be around. Usually it's at like 5. It was like, I believe, 7 something. So I noticed that across, I have a perfect like 180 view of the horizon right from my balcony here. And I could see that the lights were circling back and forth across the mountain range off in the south. And so I went out on my deck with my psionics, and I just took a look at what they were looking at. And they were going back and forth between 2 balls of light that I couldn't see with my naked eye, but I could definitely see with the psionics and filmed. And as I'm filming, the 2 static balls of light start to separate and move away from each other. They were still, and they just started to move away from each other. And so the helicopter started following the one on the left, and I followed the one on the right, which faded off into the distance. When I went back to try and capture the one on the left, both the helicopter and the ball of light were gone. I couldn't find them.
I think this is the video you sent me before. Is it the same one? Okay, let's see if this rolls right. If not, I'll fix the tracking on it. All right, Tim, you can talk over this if you need to.
Oh, sure. I don't know if it's full screen for everyone or not. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it is.
Perfect. So yeah, you can see both of them in this image, and the one on the right moving off to the right. And I eventually decide I need to track one, so I select that one on the right, and you'll see me pan here. And obviously the flashing light that you see is the military helicopter. So I don't know. The feed looks like it might be choppy. I'm not sure if it's smooth for people or if it's choppy. On my end, I'm viewing it. It looks pretty choppy.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. I'm not sure why. All right. Well, um, we should be able to get it off of here. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see any frames drop on that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I'm not seeing it in a very choppy fashion, but
It might be because it's a freaking movie
yeah, maybe.
format. If I converted it to MP4 or something, it could be just something with the
And I just gave it to
compressors
you
going on.
raw. I gave you the raw footage,
Yeah,
but
it films
you can
nice.
get a pretty good idea. Yeah, you can get a pretty good idea of what's going on there. It was just weird, odd, um, and the fact that there were military, helicopters interested, I think, was kind of what made it kind of a level up than the norm. But
Do you have military helicopters on a regular basis around you?
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But that kind of pattern. Oh, and so I actually had the ADS-B tracking, and it
Yeah.
shows them in a loop pattern over above the mountains over there. So that was also my confirmation that they were doing something and interested in something over there.
I liken when they're doing circles that there's a topless person over at that area, and that's probably what they're doing. I mean, if you got men flying these helicopters and they're like, "Look it over there, Bob," up, we got to check this out.
Don't
I
ever
mean, I
become a
don't know. If
pilot,
I was a
Tom.
woman, I'd be out topless. There'd be helicopters circling all fucking day over my property, and they are time to time. And I don't have moobs anymore. I lost weight. Just
I'll
had
tell you what, if Tom, if you were a woman, you'd be down by the docks. You'd be so busy. No, I'm just kidding. But this footage does look interesting. This kind of I weeded it out of the norm. It was here at home, and it was one of those things. I just always have my psionics as my first go-to piece of tech, and I was able to see something I wouldn't have seen if I'd shot with my cell phone.
um. Let me ask a different question here.
Mhm.
How fast have you had that Lamborghini up to?
Good question, but I can't say on camera, right?
You can't say on camera. The legal limit. Well, you could say that you were at a racetrack, and then at the racetrack you got it up to
Oh yeah, sure. At the racetrack.
the racetrack.
Well, so before I purchased mine, I took that vehicle out on a track, so it wasn't actually mine. But I did demo that thing at over 150, just over 150.
That's cool.
That was really
I've
fast for me.
the
Yeah.
fastest I've had mine at the racetrack was 125, and I started freaking out because I was
Yeah.
running out of road and shit was going by like this, and I was like, "Fuck, man! If I hit a bump, that's it's over with it." But I don't know. I'm kind of happy at 120.
It
Uh,
felt so smooth. The scary thing was is I could have easily gone faster. It's so smooth. You don't really feel the speed in a vehicle that's built for speed, if that makes sense. Everything just goes very quiet and very stable.
yeah, my car isn't particularly fast off the line, but wait till I get to get it up to about 40 or 50 miles an hour. That's when I start eating other cars because like fifth gear in my car is not needed until you go over 100 miles an hour. You can happily use fourth gear for most of the car's life, and if you want to hit over 100, then you put it into fifth gear, and the thing pulls like a train. It's like, when the hell does this max out and power? It just keeps going and going and going until you put yourself into a wall with the damn thing.
Yeah,
But anyway, let's talk about
more
this
toys.
tracking summit.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Here we go. All right, so there's a few things that are coming out this weekend for the audience. Oh, let me get that off. We have the Super Bowl this weekend, And with the Super Bowl, they are going to run a commercial for Steven Spielberg's new movie. So everybody's been kind of waiting for that. I'm sure it's going to be a good movie. I didn't really care for the trailer when I had the clicking sounds, but the man's a phenomenal filmmaker. I'm sure he's going to do us right. He'll get extricated if he comes out and does something fucked up, like they're eating us or something like that. But I'm sure it's going to be great because the man's a legend. Are you watching the Super Bowl, Tim, or what are your plans this weekend?
Oh yeah,
What's everybody
chicken
doing?
wings, beer, pizza, Super Bowl, of course. It's weird that the UAP Detection and Tracking Summit is taking place this weekend also, landing on the Super Bowl. Like, why would they try and compete with the Super Bowl? But I do have my tickets. I will be going. I'm listening to the presentations and I'll be talking in the back.
Oh, cool. I've not gotten tickets yet because I'm last minute, type of shit.
Yeah.
But I do plan on checking out Ron Olch with UFODAP. He's on Saturday.
Yeah.
And the Tedesco brothers are going to be there. Let's talk about this. So for the people that don't know, this is the first, I guess, UAP tracking and detection summit, which sounds great. This is the type of stuff I'd like to see. In the past, we had like years and years and years, we had the UFO Congress, which would take place in Laughlin, Nevada, and then it moved to Phoenix. And then this guy named Andrew Rojos, this rich real estate guy, bought the UFO Congress, and then he shut it down. And then he got all mixed up with Peter Thiel and started that UFO app that he has. So anyway, having something like this is cool. So bunch of different speakers. It's online. It's not that expensive. A lot of these conferences are hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and you could easily piss $1,000 away by the time you spend hotel, travel, and your booze, your weed, or whatever people are doing when they're there. So here we got Ted Rowe. Ted Rowe, excellent UFO researcher. He's got NORCAP, which I think isn't that with pilot sightings, a lot of pilot
Correct.
database.
Yep.
Great. He's another guy that does the science. He does the science. It's boring. It isn't sexy, but it doesn't get him headlines on News Nation. He doesn't go out there peddling, hey, I texted the vice president. He said next week. He doesn't hype. Great fucking guy. Chrissy Newton, podcaster. I don't know if I don't know why she's there, to tell you the truth. Not the slide on her. I don't know why most of these people are there.
I know why Chrissy's there. She just we did a show together called Aliens. I'm not going to say the name of the show actually because this is your show, but we did a show together, and she's totally
That's fine.
in
Just
touch
say
with
it.
the topic.
I don't give a shit. Say it.
Alien encounters, fact or fiction?
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Oh yeah. The one Dave Altman set that up.
I
Okay,
absolutely
so
love
Somebody's
Dave
heard of
Altman.
him.
Shout out Dave Altman.
Eric Burleson. Now, Eric Burleson is involved with something that I call circular reporting. He recently said that there's a UFO so big that they couldn't move it and they had to put a building around it. So, wait a minute. Did he get this information from Congress? He didn't say. Or, like, did he get this from an intelligence brief? That's why I want to know. Because if he got that information from Stephen Greer, and then Stephen Greer goes out and quotes Eric Burleson, who's really quoting Stephen Greer, right? So then you got a circular bullshit. And Stephen Greer has built the base of Bullshit Mountain. The foundation of Bullshit Mountain, laid in concrete of bullshit, started primarily with Greer, right? I mean, no one smooths and smothers around bullshit like this guy. Like he said, the U.S. Army will want to give him $2 billion. The U.S. Army doesn't have a checkbook. They don't do that. So anyway, circular reporting I'm seeing from Eric. I would like to see him be more detailed and say, where did you get this information from? And I would like to know how many people at the UAP Summit have actually seen a UFO or tracked one. Because if you ain't never seen one and you ain't never tracked one, what the fuck are you doing there? You're there to sell your shit? So anyway, Was it back to this? James Fowler. Okay. Gary Nolan. Love Gary Nolan. James Fowler. What the fuck is James Fowler doing there? He quit Skywatch and he took his dog whistle, which I think is a bad name, and left the group. The group's disbanded now. I said James Fowler. My wife said, "Who's James Fowler?" I said, "Exactly. His first name should be who is, and then the last name is James Fowler, because I don't know who the fuck he is. I know everyone in ufology. I've met Bud Hopkins. I've met everyone from the past, right? All the big names before the Grifton wave hit. I don't know who he is, right? He just came on the scene with the Skywatcher group, right? And I said in this podcast, this is what a counterintelligence operation comes in. They say all this shit, and they come in touching the third rail all over the place. When I was acting in Hollywood, I was on a set with Christy McNichol. I fell in love with this girl when I was a kid, seeing her in the pirate movie. Now I'm on a set working with her on a TV show, and I said to the casting guy who got me in, I said, "God damn, I still love her, but she's got a girlfriend." He go, "Ooh, Tom, you can't say that." I said, "What did I say?" He said, "In Hollywood, there's three things you don't talk about: politics, religion, and sexual preference. Because if you talk about this, someone above you will hear it, have different ideas than you, and you'll get blacklisted." And that was my first day on the job, and I'm like, "Oh, that's good to know." Now that's all Hollywood talks about is the third rail: politics, sexual preference, and that's shoved in every movie. So now this is getting shoved in ufology. It got shoved in ufology by Jake Barber, saying gay, left-handed people, right? He might as well have said fucking Democrat or Republican, like the aliens prefer shit. These were red flags. This was a bullshit operation from the get-go. So what did they do? They gave skywatching a bad name because they said we're going to solve it all in 2025. The guy who flies around eggs and octagons, he came in maximum bullshit and crashed out. So I don't know why he's there. So Ryan Graves, understand him. Pietro Village, great work, but that's old stuff she's doing. Science Bob, everyone likes them. Tedesco Brothers, now they should be headlining the summit thing because they should have name above the title here. These guys are holding it down. Not familiar with Adam. Monica, let's see, never heard Beatrice.
Yeah.
Some of these names I can't. An astrophysicist, if I was running this, I would never invite an astrophysicist because the name is a dirty name because Neil deGrasse Tyson bastardized the whole fucking field of we know everything. We went from wiping our ass with corn cobs 60 years ago. 10 years later, we figured out the universe. And then nothing changed from 1970 on. There's no new science. These fuckers can go study dark matter, which doesn't exist. Dave Hooper, he's got a lot of cameras like me. I don't know if he's got anything filmed yet, but he will. Cecil Lovely. Some of these guys, Ron Olds, now this guy holding it down. That's my man right there. Keith Taylor, not familiar with him. Some of these guys, I just don't know who they are. So like I said, Jesus Christ, they're all old white people. Matt Ford's interesting. So yeah, check this out. I'm going to be watching Saturday and Sunday. I'm not going to tell you what days I'm going to Sedona. No, I'm just going to say I'm watching the whole fucking thing because I can watch it from the phone, right? So I can be on remotely. So I don't know. That's my opinion, and you know I hit the beehive all the time. Tell you the truth, there's only like 8 people here. I think they even should be talking about tracking, because the rest of them are there to shove books down your throat. Right? Here's my book. Here's my podcast. Here's my wares, and some of them will show up for anything. Anything. They'll show up for anything.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tim? Are you watching any of this?
I'm excited for everything. Hopefully people present data, how they're collecting it, groundbreaking tech that we can all share. Anytime I come up with something, I present it. I want other people to do the same thing so we can compare notes. I hope that's what this is, kind of a meeting of the minds. And I recently got turned on to a new podcast, a new person that's talking on this topic who I respect. And I don't know if you remember the TV show Blossom from the 80s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure. Well, she went ahead with her life and became a doctor and studied physics and math. And so now she's Dr. Mayim Bialik.
Oh
And
yeah,
she,
yeah. She had her finger cut off. I remember that woman. Her finger got
well,
cut off, and she sewed it back on or something, right?
I'm not sure about that.
Google that. Google that.
Very
She's a very
interesting.
smart girl.
Well, she has a YouTube channel where she's doing great interviews with people like Gary Nolan and asking some really hard, intelligent questions. And she's talking about UFOs in a very realistic way. I think it's great. The more minds that I feel that we get on this, the better. So when I saw her coming on board with a curious mind, I was very excited. And so that's what I'm looking for when I see this symposium that's coming up this weekend. More people that are taking their curiosity into the physical boots on the ground investigation portion of life where you and I live and breathe, right? We live and breathe it. We're always like, oh, I've got an idea of how I could do this to do that. And then, we start to group think on this stuff. And it's pretty, it's cutting edge science, in my opinion. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of it. And so when I see other great minds coming on board, I'm all about it. I think that the more we share, the better. The last thing we want to do is obfuscate this topic.
Well, that's cool that she's into this stuff because she's got FU money and doesn't have to deal with this. So if this is something she's dealing with, it must be a passion and a desire to get into this. It's funny how celebrities know everything about ufology. They watch these shows, they watch these podcasts, like Bill Maher. Bill Maher, people either like that guy or hate that guy, but he's very well read into ufology. He was talking about, he had the guy from Age of Disclosure, Dan Farah on his show, and he was talking about how abductions stopped. So he even knows the abductions took place during a certain time frame, and then they kind of phased out. So if
Yeah.
he even understands that, then he's like, he's doing his real time with Bill Maher, and then he's getting high and he's watching UFO podcasts, for fuck's sake. He's probably not watching movies. These actors and stuff are sitting there watching ufology, which is cool, because this is getting more and more and more mainstream. And as it does, bullshit mountain grows with it because it just comes with the field. Terry asked if you guys watched Skywatch. It came out about a week ago. That was the first in the series. I just watched Skywatch 5 this week. So the fifth one, I think it's the fifth one in the series, is a mix. So it's about 75 minutes long. On this one, it was a lot of these Skywatch ones are kind of focused around one Skywatcher. So Dan Starsky is the lead in a number of them. And then it'll be maybe Chris Donald's lead. And then some of them are just Clive. I'm lead in at least one of them. And I go pretty fucking crazy in that one. I actually saw that one and I sort of don't want it to come out because after you watch that, you will think, if you don't know much about me, you will know a lot about me after this one and think differently. Because I cut into the abductions. I went into I3 Atlas, this planet getting squashed, all kinds of interesting stuff in that one. I think that one is 4. I watched 5. 5 was very well balanced with who the fuck are these guys? Me, Chris Dahl, Dan Starsky, Clive Christopher, and why are we doing this? And where are we hunting? It kind of went into what we were doing, and there's some parts I requested deleted because I looked like shit in 6K, and then there's some other parts I said, see, I watched this not as myself as a participant. I watch this as you guys, the viewer, because people want to see UFO footage, right? They don't want to hear a bunch of freaking people in their 50s talking. So I'm like, pack some more footage in here. I mean, there is footage in there, but I might put a even more. So I think differently. So I edited some footage and sent it over and said, hey, we got to put this footage in and whatnot. But it's a balance of all this. And I talked about stuff like we're going to go out and do a number of sky watches at these different areas. And we're going to do regular sky watches like we're doing. And then we're going to try CE5 sky watches, right? And bring in people that can try and summon them. Now, probably ain't me because I can't summon anything. If I would, I'd show you these videos. But we're going to bring in people and tape it. So the idea is of the 10 sky watches is going to be our baseline. Now, the extra 10 sky watches with summoners, shouldn't these sky watches have more UFOs that show up than the non-summoners? So we're doing scientific kind of testing with this to see how that works. Because my theory is there should be more with the summoners if it works at least the same. It should be like, let's say we get like 15 sightings, probably not out of 10 sky watches. Let's say we get 7. So we should have 7 with the summoners or more. I don't know. That's just kind of more my brain is thinking on that. And we kind of talk about that in this episode 5. So, and one thing is, there's no reaction shots. So if you watch Skinwalker Ranch, you could do a supercut of every time they do a reaction shot at Eric Barrett. And he looks like, hey, man, somebody farted and it's not me. I mean, he has that look all the time. Like, it's not mine, you know. And they do that. They do that to him on a fucking Skinwalker Ranch all the time. And I said, I don't want that shit. I don't want to who farted, you know, look. And then the music cues. So there's none of that. It's just kind of here's a slow burn skywatch. So you can see real people out there doing this. And we have you guys come out, the public come out. Me and Tim are talking about a mass skywatch later this year with our team and Tim's team and Tim's gear. And you guys will see the shit happening on this channel live. Now, it comes out in a movie on Amazon, I guess, maybe 4 to 5 months. So it's not too long. But you guys get to see the real-time results happening on this channel without saying, well, got NDAs and fucking has to go through peer review. We can look at the footage and we can tell if it's, you know, good or not and put the results out there. So we're doing real-time skywatch because it has to be done, man. It has to be done. What are your thoughts, Tim, as we wrap up?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I'm looking forward to our project coming up here in a few months. We're definitely going to have fun with that. And I also really I want to congratulate you on your show. I know you're reaching a really great audience. Your reviews are great. People are really enjoying your content. And, you know, you're also pushing this topic in a really interesting way. I don't think people realize that they can do this, that they can get something off the shelf and they can have this experience if they want it. You know, these objects are flying above you. Doesn't matter where you are in the country. You know, there are hot spots, but they are everywhere. So, you know, these things are there if you look for them. But Tom is evidence of that, showed us some great footage. Thanks for sharing that stuff with us, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, dude, I love having you on. It's always fun to have you on. We kind of fit together real well. I mean, we were born like 4 days apart, I think, you know, and somehow I've talked about our parents made love like the same night, different parts of the United States, and we popped out around the same time. And then it took 40 years for us to go through life and then, you know, meet through Disclosure Tonight with Thomas Fessler.
That's right.
Wes Decker, if you're not busy, I would like to personally request him come out to Sedona and come out and witness the shit and experience it firsthand. If it depends, he's I know he's deep into AI and all kinds of cutting edge shit, but man, I personally want to send out an invite if you want to come out here and make your way out from Texas to Sedona this summer. Come out. We're heading out there. We were talking about maybe doing a live show from Sedona this weekend. I don't know. So maybe it will pop up, maybe not. I'm not guaranteeing anything. but
Starlink. Take Starlink.
I don't have it. But a guy with the mother load has it. He's got it, and yeah, we can hook up 2 different Luna optics now into our system and pipe. Here's view from one, here's a view from another. So we definitely need to. I definitely need to talk with you off air and talk about those tri-field meter recording devices that you have, because, like, if you're going to have a tri-field meter out in the field, I mean, this thing uploads to the internet, so at least you have a record. But it's good to have a record, because what good is it if you go, yeah, the shit was off the chart, man. You should have seen it. You should have been there. Well, do you have any data of that? No, we didn't record it. So you're all set up with recording. So we really think on a gear level, on the same a lot, because we build our own unique equipment. And those devices that you talked about on the last time, and you're talking about taking those out to the field, that would be great too. Those UFO radar type of devices. And there's so much gear that you have and that I have. We need operators for this gear, because we only got 2 hands. So I put things up on tripods. It takes me about 70 to 90 minutes to get set up.
That's literally exactly why I designed these, because it's just me when I go somewhere. I need something I can just drop and then walk away from. So I have all these set up where I can have up to 10 devices rolling and just me by myself. But yet I'm documenting everything, because every device has its own camera. So I'm not going to miss it. And it's all synced up at the same time. So if I'm like, hey, there's this ball of light at 10:07, I can look at 10:07 on all my other things and be like, hey, I was getting big electromagnetic hits around the same time, and sync up my time and be able to corroborate data and do it in a very visual way. So it's simple and not overcomplicated for the people that I'm trying to show this to, because numbers don't mean anything. Not today. You need to be visual. And so this is my way of doing that. And so each device is set up to be something that will give you indisputable evidence.
Man, that is, I'm impressed. I didn't know what to expect. With dogs filming UFOs because they take them outside to take a dump, and then cigarette smokers too. And he had a dog, and he smoked cigarettes, so it was a double whammy. So I hate telling people, start smoking cigarettes and go get a puppy, because then you'll be outside filming UFOs. Right? Don't get a puppy. Don't smoke cigarettes. It's a joke.
That's right.
But he quit, man. But yeah, we need a lot of people to run that gear, and you got stuff I don't even think they thought of on Skinwalker Ranch.
I'm a one-man band, so I have to think about things that I can do on my own as a filmmaker. Yeah.
Well, if they ever sell those robots, the Optimus that Tesla is going all in on, those fucking robots,
man.
I want to fucking buy one, and it'll take my job, but I could have it sit in this chair, and then I could have it watching cameras and operating stuff, and we could start having robots take our skywatching jobs, because I could use more help.
Love it. Great show tonight, Tom. Thanks.
Yeah, this is the real UAP detection summit and tracking summit. We detect them, we track them, we show them. We'll see how much footage, if they have any footage. The Tedesco brothers might have some footage to show. But interesting weekend. So everybody remember, the disclosure trailer is going to drop during the Super Bowl. The UAP detection summit starts tomorrow morning. I'll drop a link in the comments if you're interested, or just Google it. It'll come up, and check it out. I think it's, what is it, Tim? $50 for the weekend or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that much, but I don't know if it's going to come out on YouTube later. You would think, maybe
Might not at
whatever
all.
the hell they're going to do with it. But I wish them luck. I wish them the best of luck. I hope there's a 2020 UAP summit, and I hope there's some footage from the 2026 that ends up in the 2027 to show the results, that we make progress with what we're doing. Because if you got all these guys and women at this thing, they should come back with something, right?
Yeah, it's a good meeting. It's going to be a great meeting. A lot of good minds.
It is. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Wes, stopping in. Thanks, Terry Hall. Mr. BoobTube, you made it in here. Mila, I did not see Truth Seeker in here. Hopefully he's doing okay. Shelly Montgomery is in the house. Gobstoppers here. Did I miss anybody? There's some new people in here. Thanks for that, again, for that super chat, Wes. You know that is going towards that 9 optic camera, wherever the hell that comes. Tim, stay on after we leave. I want to talk to you for a little bit about upcoming Skywatch, and we will see you guys next Friday on the next episode, 55 4K Skywatching. Might be some videos from Sedona, might be something else. Thanks for watching.